Hey, what's up, everybody? This is an early morning edition of the Badass Bandleader Show. I just wanted to dive in because I've got a good friend of mine had sent me a private message. He's been watching the show, and he has a band back in my hometown. This is a guy that I've known I've known since I was a kid, literally, and he was just expressing some frustration because, as he put it, he has some of the best musicians in town in his band, and yet he's just feels like he's having a hard time getting work, having a hard time getting his band booked, and I feel his pain. And so I wanted to go ahead and basically just kind of, rather than totally personalizing the message, I felt like I was going to be able to share some insights that will be helpful to a lot of people. So I wanted to go ahead and make this video. This is really for my buddy Matt and his band, but I think a lot of what I'm going to go into is going to apply here. So again, I am Reverend Barry. It's my stage name. I am with a band, or I'm a leader of a band called Reverend Barry and the Funk out of Sarasota, Florida, and we've done pretty well as a band. We've been around for about 7 years. And before I dive into this, if you are interested in getting your band paid a lot more money, we've done this process in the last few years where we've been booking our own events, and we've been doing our own like themed events and selling tickets, and we're getting anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500 a night. Really, I should say, not from a bar, actually from our fans directly. We just sell tickets to our fans, and we make deals with the venues. And I've made a video to explain that process. If you want to go to revclass.com, that's REV as in Victor, class.com. I spell out exactly how we do all of that. So anyway, so back to Matt's dilemma. So again, he's frustrated because he feels like he's got incredible talent in his band, and yet he's frustrated. He feels bad for his band members that he hasn't been able to get them steady work. And so I totally feel you. I've got an 8-piece band that's full of incredible musicians as well. At least I think they are. And I understand the pressure of keeping these guys working all the time, because I have guys in the band that are actually, they really count on this income to make a living or to supplement their income. Some guys don't, but so I feel a certain pressure to keep them booked. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of look at this from 3 angles, because your band is a business. Your band isn't like a business. I hear people say that, but no, it's not true. Your band is a business. And any business, some core fundamental things that you have to look at is going to be, one is going to be your product and service offering, what you actually sell, what you're actually offering to the marketplace, and then taking a hard look at that, and then looking at a couple other things, which would be your marketing for that product or service, and then your sales process, which is different. Now they're tied one to the next very closely, but let's look at them in 3 categories. So I was looking at Matt's, I was actually looking at the marketing for his material, for his band, because I'm in Florida, he's in Indiana, and that's really the only way that I have to know about his band, other than just what I know personally. So I'm looking to try to figure out what is the product or service that you're offering as a band. And what was unclear to me was whether or not, are you a cover band or are you an original band? The only thing that kind of clued me in, and now you just from the looks of things, from your current marketing, it looks like you're an original band, because like if you have a website, you have a Bandcamp page that serves as your website, and when I go to that, I don't see anything that talks about like a song list or anything like that, or has videos of you playing covers or something like that. It only has a copy of your band's EP and a few other spare details. So right out of the gate, so I'm thinking, okay, well, the band must be doing all originals. Then I went to your Facebook page, and I see, if I go into the videos, I saw that, I think there was like one Rebel Yell, it was a cover song. And then I think I happened to catch a glimpse of one of the set lists, as you had and I looked to see some of the songs on the set list, and it looked like there may be a few more covers there. So so this is kind of tied into your marketing as well, which I'm going to cover here in just a minute. But so as a club owner, when when you're calling around, which is again part of the sales process, which I'm going to cover here in just a second, you know, and maybe you send, I'm not sure how you're reaching out to club owners to talk to them about your band, but a typical process is going to be, well, send me some information. And they're going to want to see, and they're going to go check you out. They're going to check out your marketing. They're going to check out your Facebook page. You're going to maybe go to YouTube. Most people go to your Facebook page, and what they see is just, you know, other than maybe what you say in an email or said over the phone, they're just going to, you know, which they're going to remember much. They're going to look at your marketing and they're going to judge you from that. And so, again, I'm thinking right out of the gate, because I don't know any better, is that you're mostly playing originals. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to get steady work, as you know, using your words, it's tough. That's the hard road. A band that plays mostly originals, all of us know, if anybody's, I've done that. I've been in bands that did that in the past. It is a very tough road, and because, you know, it's just, really it boils down to selling tickets. When people come to an original band show, you know, just like, you know, I'm going to go see the Raconteurs here at the end of the month. Obviously, that's a band that plays their own songs, and, you know, I'm a big fan of. They get their new album out. You know, we paid, I think, $90 for tickets. But back in their early days when they were first around, you know, they weren't doing the, you know, the cover band thing. But that's because they got Jack White in the band. But I'm going off on a tangent here, but most of us, my camera's shifting here. You know, our band does play originals, but in a 3 or 4 hour night, we're doing mostly covers. You know, we'll play, sorry here, try to adjust this camera. We're doing mostly covers. You know, we're known as more as a dance cover band. You know, we've got a 3-piece horn section. We play a lot of Motown and funk and disco and soul music and that kind of stuff, real danceable, familiar material. And we've slowly, over the years, over the past 7 years, we've worked our originals into our set. And on any given night, 3 or 4 hour sets or 4 hour nights, we'll play about 20 to 30% originals. But that's only been after 7 years. So my suggestion to most bands would be start as a cover band and work your originals in, because it's very tough otherwise. Because for one thing, as an all original band, it's very tough to get a venue to pay you anything. As a cover band, you can make okay money. It's not great money, but you should, at least as a cover band, be able to pay your guys, you know, at first the typical thing is $100 a man, and then maybe, you know, hopefully you need to have money left over. Well, you must have money left over, because again, your band is a business. You have to have capital to run a business. If you don't have money, if the band doesn't have a kitty, you're not going to be able to do the marketing and promotion that you need to do, amongst other things, like buy PA systems or buy in-ear monitor systems, or, you know, all the other expenses that band leaders need to incur. So it's just, I think it's so critical to be a cover band that works originals into your set, if nothing else, for the money. Because again, I apologize for that. You've got to have money to run a band, and without as an all original band, it's very tough to have money unless somebody's just forking it out of their own pockets. So that would be one thing that I would definitely, and if you're in a situation where you actually are a cover band, you play mostly covers, it's not, you need to make that abundantly clear on your website, on your Facebook page, when you're trying to get gigs. If that's your main objective, is to get booked, you know, it needs to be abundantly clear in your marketing materials that that's the case. I would go ahead and probably put a song list up there. Now, assuming that you are a cover band that does play some originals, that's only a small part of the battle. The other part is, what covers are you going to play? Now, and this is obviously that everybody has strong opinions when it comes to this. I would say, if you're a band that focuses, I do know for a fact that you do have musicians in your band who are fantastic players. You're fantastic rock players, guys that I've known personally for years, that I know, you know, definitely have got the chops. If that's the type of band that you have, you know, I would feature that with your covers. Now, again, this is a tough line to toe. There's a band here in the Tampa Bay area that's very popular called Stormbringer. They've been around for literally 30 years. And these guys are known for playing stuff like Kansas and Boston, and actually they back up Robbie Steinhardt from Kansas whenever he does like a Kansas tribute thing, and they're phenomenal. I mean, they're incredibly tight because they've been playing together for 30 years, and they're just brilliant musicians. So people go to see them. I mean, apparently they'll do, I haven't seen them, but I've heard about them for a while, quite a while. They'll do Queen, then they just do it dead on. They're known as being that band that people, you know, they don't necessarily dance to them, but they're just so good that people will go and they'll, you know, and they draw big crowds. But again, they've also been around for 30 years. And so the big question has to be, if you're going to have a band that does that and you're new, are you going to be able to draw that same kind of crowd? I don't know. I think a safer bet is to be a mix of a band that does that type of material really well, but to keep your material danceable. Because at the end of the day, some of the most successful bands that do covers and play rock are still playing danceable rock. You know, and some of the most danceable rock that's out there, we all know it's like Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Poison, you know, that kind of stuff. And then, you know, the Romantics, and, you know, it's all those kind of standard covers. Now, that you may be totally turned off by that idea, but it's a tried and true formula. If you're trying to get work, if you're trying to keep your guys working, because the problem is that if you don't keep your guys working, they're going to start looking around. They're going to start wondering, you know, why am I doing all these rehearsals? Why am I putting all this time into writing these originals and stuff if we're just not playing for anybody? So I get it. There's a pressure there. And you have to be willing as a band leader to kind of, you know, sometimes you got to suck up your pride a little bit and go, you know, I don't want to be a cheesy cover band, but if that's what the marketplace is looking for, you know, again, going back to, you know, back to just basic business of, do you have a product and service that's in demand, that people actually want, that these club owners are going to want? Is it, you know, can you draw people, and or the people who are already here at my bar, are they going to stick around to watch your band because A, you guys are playing songs that they know, and or B, you're playing songs that the girls will dance to and the guys will get out there with them, you know? Because, yeah, I think you see where I'm going with that. Okay, so let's shift to marketing a little bit here, which is, of course, one of my favorite topics because it's what I do for a living, and it's really, I think, the thing that's set our band apart. I noticed with your Facebook page that you only had about 850 followers. I really would try to focus on getting that number up. Because again, when you go to club owners, it's one of the first things they're going to look at. They're going to look at your Facebook page, and they're going to look right at that number. And now you may be like, well, that's easy for you to say. How do I get more followers? Well, that's where Facebook advertising comes in. And I actually have a course that I've developed as part of if you go to revclass.com, with that training video that I have there, I do have an offer there where I'm offering to work with bands, just a small number of bands, to help them put on their first events. And as part of that course offering, I have a 10-module Facebook advertising course. And Facebook advertising has been the number one best thing that we've ever done for our band and continue to do. With every gig that we ever do, we place ads, paid ads, and we spend 10 or 20 bucks, and we let people know where we're playing. But Facebook has an incredible ad platform where it has all these different types of ads that you can run, which have all different types of objectives. And one of the ads you can run is called a like ad. And it's real simple. I suggest using a promotional video. I always use the same, we've got our latest single. It's actually an original song, but it's been a really popular song for us. I suggest using a video, and then just like our page, if you want to know when we're playing next, that type of thing. It's called a like ad, and again, it's part of our course, or I'm sure you could go to YouTube and just type in Facebook like ad, setup or something like that, and it'll show you how to do that. Now you have to use the Facebook Ads Manager to do that. I'm actually got parked here, so I'm gonna take the glasses off. Okay, the other big thing, so run a like ad. Now, there is a way, and I'm gonna say this with a caveat. This can be abused, but there is a technique that you can use to get penny likes, okay? So basically, and here's the short version of it, and I explain how to do this in my course, but this is something that absolutely can be abused. So basically what you do is you run ads in foreign countries. And basically, so you run an ad worldwide, but you exclude Europe, United States, Australia, Canada. But then you run an ad in all these other countries. So your ads are going to be showing up in Africa and Asia and that kind of thing. And you just have the video, and it says, you basically put in there, like, you know, like our page if you like rock music or something like that. Well, and it absolutely will give you likes on your page for about a penny. Now you're going to have people in India and Africa and all this. If you look at people, you know, a bunch of names that you can't even pronounce are going to be liking your page. Well, as you can, you know, and I have seen that I've put some money into it, and you're getting likes for like a penny, and all of a sudden now you've got people. Now, is it fraudulent? Not really. I mean, if you're using a video of your band, or even an image from your band, or the title, you know, the name of your band, are they liking your page because they like rock music? Yes. And you know, and I describe in my course on how to do the targeting and all that. You don't just put it to people with a pulse. You do it with people who like rock music. You can do targeted advertising. But it absolutely can be abused, because if you just say you put $500 into something like that, that means you're going to have like 50,000 likes or something in a matter of really in a couple weeks. Now, club owner comes and look at your page and they say, oh my God, you've got 50,000 Facebook followers. Absolutely, we can book your band. Band shows up, plays the gig, nobody shows up. The guy's going to know you're a fraud. He's going to know that you basically bought likes for nothing. So I think it's something maybe to kind of pad a little bit, but don't abuse it. You really want to get legitimate likes. And there's ways of doing that. A better way of doing it would be to run ads in the marketplace. Every time you actually do have a gig, run a paid ad, and you can run a like ad as the thing that announces your gig. Plus you can run other types of ads, and then anybody who likes the ad, you can go back and you can invite them to like your page. In fact, there's a script on you get a Google plugin that you can install that helps do that automatically. It's a little annoying. You got to go through and click on it. That's a better way, because those are legitimate likes in your market area of people who would like your band and would like to come see you play. So, all right. So, but I would absolutely do Facebook advertising. You need to get the followers on your Facebook page up. Another thing with your website, I noticed that you're using Bandcamp for your website. It doesn't look great, just to be perfectly honest. Again, people hearing about your band for the first time, trying to get booked, they're probably going to go to Google, they're going to type in the name of your band, and voila, that's the first thing that comes up. They're going to look at your website. They're either going to be turned on or going to be turned off by it. It was a little hard to figure out where I was supposed to click. You know, I just had your EP there, and then had this other thing, and that was about it. I didn't see videos and all that kind of stuff. Look, you can get, I know, you know, you can get websites made. I had a website made for our band through a resource that cost me $500. That's it. Actually, no, it was $400, and then we pay the web designer $50 a month. And this is somebody who's in the United States. Now, look, I've been in the marketing industry for almost 15 years. I've done a tremendous amount of outsourcing overseas. If you want to do that, you can go to Fiverr.com. That's like the name sounds, 5 with an ERR at the end of it. Just Google it. You can find people to do web design on Fiverr. I would personally prefer Upwork.com. That's Upwork.com. Just Google it. You can find people overseas that do incredible web design, graphic design, video editing. Heck, I've even hired, I kid you not, I've hired an accountant and an attorney on Upwork. For pennies on the dollar on what you would get in the United States, and they do really great work. And you know, and you can get websites made for like, you know, 400 or 500, maybe 1,000 at the most if you really want to go all out, but you don't have to. But they'll build a WordPress website for you. I would recommend hosting it on GoDaddy, because GoDaddy is or any website, any place where they have a one-step backup. Here's why that's important. The downside with WordPress websites is they get hacked a lot. So, you know, yes, there's some security software that you can install on there, but, you know, it's not perfect. So the best thing that you can have is a hosting service where you can host it, where you can have a thing where you can go in and you can click right before you got hacked. You can go to the day before and go restore this version of the website, and boom, now the hackers disappears. So just a little tip there for you. But I would have a web designer make a professional WordPress website for you. There's plenty of, they're called themes. It's kind of like templates that you can use that are made for bands, and they look freaking amazing. I mean, the templates are just incredible. And if you've got decent photos for your band, and I know in the case of Matt, you do have really great photos of the band, it'll look like money when, you know, when they go there. So, and then buy the domain name for your band, you know, buy the .com version. Just go ahead and, you know, and just buy it. In fact, you should own it already if you don't. So anyway, so, okay, so your marketing. Then I also noticed that you don't have an Instagram page that I could find anyway, and then you also did not have a YouTube channel that I could find. Not a huge deal, but it's something, you know, these resources are out there. They're free. You know, you can set up an Instagram page, and if you're not sure how to do that, you know, because it's a little wonky because you have to actually do it on your phone. But you can set up multiple accounts on your phone on Instagram. You can set up business accounts and personal accounts. So go ahead and do an Instagram account, and you can attach your Instagram account to your Facebook page for your band. So that way you're not having to constantly do everything twice. You can, you know, take a photo or a video on Instagram, and then you can have it where it automatically uploads to your Facebook page. I'll be the first to admit that I was a late bloomer to Instagram. I'm still kind of getting used to it. So I was much more active on my Facebook page for years, and only in the last couple years have I ever really done much on Instagram, and I still have to remind myself to do it. But there's a lot of people on Instagram, and the cool thing with Instagram is that you can do hashtags, and like in your area, like you could put, like, I know you're in Evansville, Indiana, you could put, you know, Evansville Live Music, or hashtag Evansville Live Music, you know, stuff like that, and then people will see your post coming through, and we've picked up followers just because of our hashtags. So, you know, but that's a whole, Instagram is a different world. But I would definitely, at the very least, you need to have an Instagram page, you need to have a YouTube page, because there are some promoters and club owners that will go to YouTube and they expect you to have a page. If you don't even have one, or if there's, you know, it doesn't look great. So again, okay, so back to the marketing. Sorry, I got a phone call. WordPress website, Instagram page, get your Facebook likes up, you know, buy likes if you have to, or you definitely should. And then what was the other one? I think a YouTube channel. And okay, so that's your marketing. And oh, bonus thing, and I think this is extremely important, which would be to, you really need to have a promo video. And I mean like a legit video where it's, sorry, there's just some guy that starts staring at me. You know, he's like talking on the phone and like staring at me, like, how rude. Anyway, the other big thing would be have a promotional video. So if you're going to put yourself out there as a cover band that plays originals, which I've already recommended, you need to have a promo video, and it needs to sound good and it needs to look good, and it'll be the best money that you've ever spent. It should be. And so go ahead and spend the money on it. And, you know, it's on the video and the sound, the audio. And it's cool to lip sync. In fact, I don't know why bands don't just lip sync to their videos, because it's very important that when somebody's listening to your promo video on headphones, that it sounds good. You know, this thing where I see these bands, you know, they think it's good, okay to have a promo video. It's just some guy that came out with a phone to one of their gigs, and it's lame. You can't expect to get booked at a prime club if your promo video sucks. It just, you know, that's your marketing. That's what people are looking at. Okay, so Sales process. And I know this is something where you're like, what do you mean sales process? Absolutely, you have to sell. Any product or service needs to be sold. Marketing will get them interested in you. It's going to make them either be turned on or turned off by the idea of booking your band, but you still have to sell. In fact, the guy that was just trying to call me when I was on this call was our manager. Now, we do have a manager. I know there's a lot of bands that don't have managers. We've gotten to that level, but I've learned a lot from him because he was one of the biggest booking agents in New York in the late 80s and early 90s. And I've learned a lot from his process. And he's like, look, there's no magic to getting bands booked. Now he really pushed me to get a new website for my band. He pushes me to do social media and do all those things for all the reasons I've already mentioned. But he's like, when it comes down to it, it's still about, you must be persistent, okay? All you're looking for is from an answer to these club owners is a yes or a no, right? And I know it's frustrating because you call them. For one, they're impossible to get a hold of on the phone, or the ones that drive me nuts are the ones that they only want to communicate using Facebook Messenger. For some reason now I noticed that's an annoying trend. But either way, that's how they want you to send your stuff to them. And they're it's not, some of them are not that big of a deal. If you can go in person to meet with these club owners, that is always preferable. Always, because people do they do business with people. It's still a relationship business. And so if you can have like some kind of press kit or something that you're going to drop off, or just links to your stuff, and go meet with them in person and make an impression, that's preferable. But still, they're probably not going to give you an answer right out of the gate. So that's why persistence is key. You just are looking for a yes or a no. But I do know for a fact that our manager calls and follows up with some of these venues, I'm not kidding, 20, 30 times. I'm not joking. It is, in fact, he's have some venues that their first thing that they say, jokingly, will be like, well, we received all 30 of your emails. So, but at the end of the day, it worked. And again, this guy's he was one of the top booking agents in New York, and actually on the Jersey Shore for years. And he's like, still in this day and age, it just takes constant follow-up. He said, now, yes, I could probably be seen as annoying, but all I'm looking for is a yes or a no. If you tell me maybe, I'm going to just keep following up with you. If you tell me no, I won't call you back. Maybe go back and visit it next year. But if you look at our band's calendar, the proof is in the pudding. We are booked like crazy, and a lot of those venues are new since he came on board. So there's just no substitute for persistence. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but when you've got your marketing together, and when you've got your band together, and you've got a promotional video that you think kicks ass, and it's going to prove to them that this is the type of product, we're the type of product that you need to have in your venue, that's when the selling starts. And that's when you got to reach out, go meet them in person, send those emails, and just keep going back and get a yes or a no. So I hope this has been helpful. I know it's been a little bit long, but Matt, I believe in you, buddy. I know you guys are great. I know your band is incredible. I just think there's some things that need to be massaged with your marketing, and most likely your sales process, and probably even just your set list and all that. I'm rooting for you, buddy. Let me know how it goes. And of course, I'm always here for you. Ask questions, comments down below. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.